Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am here with episode 4 of the Raw Edge Crazy Quilt tutorial. Please go look for the playlist link in the description box down below. It will also appear on the end screen. You want to go watch episodes 1 through 3 if you haven't seen them yet, so this will make sense to you. I am going to jump right in and let you guys know that I went ahead and made all 20 blocks. I had enough of the fusing for 20 and I cut 20, but I thought I'd do only 16. I had so much fun making blocks that I could not stop. So I made all 20. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and show them to you up close, but I've got to tell you, I absolutely loved this method. Where's my one with my little tiny, look at that little tiny little patch I put there. And there's a little piece here. I just had so much fun with this. I will say, you know, this is a little stiffer because we do have the fusing, although this is like paper thin, very lightweight. But when you sew zigzag stitches and have fabrics on top of each other, even just that stitching stiffens it a little bit, but it's still going to make a great quilt top. And I have other ideas for future projects where I will be still doing quilting, but I won't be always making a quilt. I could make tote bags, other things. Let me just show you these blocks. I know I am forever apologizing for the lousy lighting, and I even have a light bulb out. It is my goal to get better lighting in here because I will be spending a lot of time sewing this winter when it gets dark at 4 p.m. I just have such a wide variety going on, and I just laid them down. If I saw like same colors really too close together, I just moved them. But other than that, I'm not being fussy. You can decide which way, this way, this way, this way, doesn't matter to me. Now we are going to be putting them together. There are so many ways this could be put together. I decided I'm not going to do sashing because this is already episode 4 and I'd like this series to come to an end soon, and I'm going to try something different. But if you make blocks like this, do know that you can add sashing if you want. If you wanted to add cotton to each edge, then you could put those together rag quilt style and rag the edge. You can't do rag quilting as is because if you put this together and snip, this will never fray. But you could add cotton around each block, even cotton flannel around each block, then put your blocks together and do a rag quilt. You can sew them together, the typical way, putting right sides together and sewing and opening. I'm not going to do that because that seam, again, it will be just that much stiffer. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put the panels together side by side, or maybe overlapping, even just like 1/8 of an inch. And we're just going to zigzag. It's going to be all top stitching. It's going to be so easy. After that's done, and I won't do it, but if somebody wanted to, they could take some more fabric scraps and like make a little patch going across so it would look like it was seamless. That would be super cool. I was going to work like in blocks of 4, but I think I will just work in rows. So we'll just take one row, sew them together, put it here, do another row, another row, another row. Then we put the 4 rows together and we will be done. Let's head on over to the machine. I'm trying to get right up close for now. I'll have to change positions in a little bit because the camera will be in my way. But I just want you to see how I'm going to do this. I haven't tried this. I mean, I have in the past done things like this, but I didn't, play with it on these particular blocks. I didn't do any practicing. What was I going to say? Oh, when I just said that after these are all sewn together we'll be done, I didn't mean we'll be done this series. I still have to back this baby. I'm taking it right to the end of a quilt. But you know me, I don't actually do quilting. I don't like that part, so I skip that. We're just going to put one on top of the other, just a little bit. I mean, just even like 1/8 of an inch. You don't even really have to, but if you worry about your zigzag not catching, it's a good idea to put one on top of the other. Doesn't matter which one goes on top of the other. Obviously, I did trim all my blocks. I squared them off to 6 inches each. You can have whatever size block you want. And let's just give this a go. I'm using the same zigzag that I used in the blocks. I don't think you need to be that close. It doesn't get much easier than that. It's nice and flat. The only thing is I can see that I might end up, having a hard time keeping the rows straight. So I think I am going to work in 4s. So I'm just putting these 2 back. I'm taking the 2 blocks on top of that. I'm going to sew these together. So now I have these 2 sewn together. And these are the other 2 that I sewed together that belong like this, just under it. So I'm going to go ahead and make a 4 patch. You know what I could do if I wanted to, and you certainly could do it. If I wanted, I could put a little bit of that double-sided hem tape and press this so that it wouldn't move. That would be an excellent idea. I'm going to skip it just for the sake of time, but you could do that. Then that would just be glued there together, and the sewing part would be so easy. I am going to put a couple pins, okay? All right, is that okay by you? Yeah, see, I almost hurt myself with just one attempt at pinning. Let's go. Looking good. And that's how it looks on the back. So I'm just going to create another 4 patch. I'm going to chain stitch. It's going to send the next 2 through. And I believe I had it with this on top. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to sew these together now. I was just going to say I need to check my bobbin, and I ran out of bobbin thread. I will spin that, be right back. Okay, I am going to just finish that. The one sucky thing about making 4 patches is I will have to be putting these together like this and sending that through. I don't like having a lot of stuff under the arm of my sewing machine. I just don't. If I wanted to do just a row at a time, that would have been like super easy. But what I'll do is just be able to roll it, and we'll manage. Let's go ahead and sew these 2 together now that I said that. Just going to see if they line up okay. If not, I can always do some trimming. I'm not overly concerned at all with the final shape of this. Okay, I'm just going to do that, and let's pin right here. You can overlap a good 1/2 inch if you want, if it makes it easier. Just going to fold this a little bit. We've got this. Here we go. Let's do these 2 blocks. And these 2 blocks. Let's put these 4 blocks together. Another one done. Now I'm going to sew these 2 4 patches together. This is going so quick. I mean, I know you're seeing it fast speed, but trust me when I say this is quick. This is quick and easy. Okay, this is a little uneven there. I'm just going to trim it. I'm not going to measure it or anything. There's just a little part sticking out. We're just going to trim it. All fixed. Now I'm left with just 2 lonely blocks on each end because I had a 5x4. So I'm just going to sew these 2 together like this and attach it to one of those now 8 patches. So I have the big, you know, whole big row, my 2 big blocks of 4 each. There's my little patch piece. I just thought that was so special. And I'm going to trim this because it was a little bit uneven. And I'm just going to add this to this. I have no idea if this was supposed to go in the other direction. I don't care. It's good enough for me. I will put a couple of pins because that seems to be working good for me. Not the easiest thing to do when you also have a camera. Okay, I have one whole big piece done. Looking awesome. Now I have to do the same. I have to put these 2 together. I'm going to attach it here. And we have this one all sewn together. Now I just have to sew this to the other one. So I have this big guy and I'm going to sew this one to it. But for the sake of having room to pin, I'm going to do that on my other table. I'll be right back. Moving you back a little bit. The edge that's going on top a little bit, I trimmed it just a little bit, made it even. This is awesome. Believe it or not, my 2 big long rows ended up almost exactly the same length. I mean, literally, I don't even know if they're off at all. I didn't trim them at all. I mean, like, perfect. And it's not because the intersections are all matching up. It's just that I guess I screwed up enough, and I screwed up evenly. I don't know. There's no screwing up. You just put it all together, and at the end, if it's one crooked mess, you just trim it. It's all good. Yay! This quilt top is done. I am so incredibly pleased with how this came out. It's almost still perfect. I mean, my edges just came out so good. Even my intersections are all right. They don't have to be perfect. It's a crazy quilt. I will be able to show it to you better for the next video. Oh, you can see pretty much there. Just love it. And that's what it looks like on the back. What I think I suggested earlier is if somebody wanted to, they could now come over and put some applique over the pieces that are sewn together. But I think I like it this way because we see the actual blocks. It frames each one of them. And my pieces are already all put away nice and neat, so I didn't want to do any more piecing. But again, you can put it together any way you want. Now, as for the actual final product, I don't know yet. I'm not sure, but you know that I'm not really a quilt maker. I like to do blocks. I like the piecing. I don't even like the looks of quilts that are quilted. I don't like a flattened out quilt. I don't mind something flat, but if it's going to be flat, I like it to be just a blanket. You know, I don't want to mess things up by stitching all kinds of things. I think there's enough going on in these blocks, but I really like them. Still have threads everywhere. That's it for this video. The next time we will be putting a backing on this. I don't know if I'll have batting. I might not. I just don't know. So you have to subscribe so you don't miss episode number 5. I think we'll be finishing it up completely in episode number 5. So thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Bye!